The big guy. How's it going, mate? I'm in the hot seat today. How's it going? You all right?
I'm good, mate, yeah.
Look at me with my notes as well. I'm proper professional.
You're nervous?
A little bit, yeah. I don't know me. I'm normally lurking, aren't I? You know, behind the scenes, like in the shadows. But, so yeah, what are you thinking? Like, just like a little overview.
Yeah, man. But I think we should talk about the last 12 months. I think for a lot of it, I was, in the recovery stage of addiction. But I'm out of it now. I don't even see myself as in recovery. I see myself as in discovery.
Do you see yourself as a different person to what you used to be?
Yeah, 100%.
I can see it as well, to be honest. Obviously, I'm sitting behind there a lot of the time, seeing you do your thing and that, and like the journey. I remember you when you were an axe murderer. Do you know what I mean? Like being a complete lunatic. So like, I know it's a bit like weird, but I'm proud of you, man. It's really cool.
And do you know what, mate? I never used to accept stuff like that.
Me neither.
I wouldn't accept praise from people because I'd say I don't deserve it.
I remember when I was gigging back in the band days and all that, obviously bipolar and mental and all that. And I'd do a gig and like everyone would be packed in there, everyone would be loving it and that. But like I knew that my voice wasn't right or the guitar sound wasn't right or the drummer was a bit loose or whatever. And I'd come off stage and people would be like, oh fucking hell, really, really loved the gig, smashed it. And I'd be so awkward. I'd be like, do you think it was a bit shit? It was a bit shit. My mate said to me, he said, just say thanks. You should just accept that people like what you do. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's because nobody spends more time than you inside your own head. I did it like when I first started doing these podcasts. I'm overweight and my voice doesn't sound. I'm just comfortable in who I am. That's the most important thing.
So how did that like journey start then, from being a complete maniac to like,
Do you know what, mate? And like I've said to people in the past that it was easy. It wasn't. But I think at the time when I've been speaking about it in the past, it's felt easy.
Right.
But it's been the most difficult 12 months of my life, like genuinely.
In what sense?
So like probably about 14 months ago was when I decided to stop taking drugs. But people talk about purpose and the spiritual aspect of purpose. But for me, I just had a vision of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. So it was like, I'm going to study neuroscience. I'm going to study psychology. I'm going to fucking study hypnotherapy. And then I came across
What was that all in the vision? All of that was in one
vision. Like this was just a thought in my head. At the time, it was just a thought process. And then it was like, I've discovered neurolinguistics. Even when I was still drinking and using, I was like, what the fuck does this mean? And it's weird because I stopped using in like I think it was the end of November, beginning of December last year. By January, I've met my mentor, who's a neurolinguistics.
How'd you meet him?
Online.
Was it, yeah?
And it was all through, so like, there's a huge debate on social media about whether addiction is a disease or not. I've always said it's not. I've always said it's a trauma response to pain and suffering. But what I've learned to realize is it doesn't matter what I believe when we're talking about another human being. Their belief system is their belief system.
Yeah, and it's as ingrained as yours is. Yeah.
We were talking about fucking quantum physics before on the way here.
Badly, I might add.
Yeah. Awfully as well. Quantum entanglement. So somebody believes that they have a disease, that becomes their reality. That is their belief system. Therefore, it makes it.
No, you said a good thing you've said it a couple of times actually, but it resonated with me. You said that when you've been in these spaces, like, recovery spaces, that people will say, oh, I'm an alcoholic. I haven't had a drink for 20 years, but I'm an alcoholic. And you were like, well, prove it then. How can you prove that you're an alcoholic? You're not anymore. Get out of that fucking mindset.
And I like, so through the psychology stuff and through like, going off topic a little bit, I think for a lot of the time last year, I was looking for silver bullets.
Right.
If I do a master's in psychology, if I learn neuroscience, then I know everything. And that in itself is a huge limited belief. But like one thing I learned with John, my mentor, I keep calling him my mentor, he feels like he's my dad, mate. He quickly made me realize that I've got far more experience and knowledge than I'll need in a lifetime to do what I want to do. And it was the fact that I was looking for a silver bullet made me realize, like on the Matrix, there is no spoon. There is no silver bullet. And it was through that I just sort of learned to chill out a little bit more. But it was weird because going back to what we were talking about, I met him in the January when I just discovered neurolinguistics. Then I meet a guy who is a fucking wizard on the brain, neuroscience, loved psychology, and is also a neurolinguistics fucking
come at the right time, basically.
And I remember saying to him, how weird is it? Like we were talking about before, you attract certain things. I said to him, how weird is it that all the things that I said I was going to do 4 weeks ago, and then I go and meet you.
Yeah.
And he said to me, when the student is ready, the teacher will show his face. And I was like, this is mental. And like, obviously this man, he's got a career around this. But we were talking. So when you go in these addiction and recovery spaces, especially online, you'll get people, they'll tell you their life story in the first 20 seconds. My name's Joe Bloggs, and I'm an alcoholic or an addict, and I had some form of abuse as a child, or whatever it was. I just said, hi, my name's Lee. And like, that was almost it. And I refused to say that I was an addict. I refused to say it because it's an identity statement. Now, some people find comfort in saying they're an addict.
See, for me, sorry to just jump in, but like for me, obviously I've had mad problems with drugs all my life. And like when I first got clean, I found power in saying, I'm admitting it, I'm a fucking drug addict, I need to sort myself. I found power in it. But then as time's gone on, I stopped identifying with that kind of fucking thought pattern. I found that like you can be restrictive, it can be restrictive. And now I'd still, I'm still a damaged goods, you know what I mean? But like, I don't identify as one anymore. I just don't.
Well, I don't understand why people just don't identify as being a fucking human being. Because you never hear somebody say, my name's Joe and I'm a decent person. I've made mistakes, but I'm trying to do better.
Yeah.
There always has to be some form of structured label that gives definition. And like neurolinguistics, one of the most valuable things it's taught me is that language gives definition to outcome. You've probably heard me say it when you've been sat there. The words we use define who we are, even though we don't mean to. So you just said something there which isn't true. I have had issues with drugs my whole life.
From birth, like,
but it's
on
not
the needle from birth. No, I know,
But by
we generalise, though, don't we? That's what we do.
Exactly. The brain distorts, generalises, files away everything. But by you saying those words, you create a belief system, a neurological pathway in your brain that says to you, I've always been this way, and I always will be. But it's not true. I've had a conversation literally 20 minutes ago with a lad. He said, I feel empowered. Brilliant. But it's still a limiting belief. Right. He feels empowered by being called an addict.
Right.
Brilliant.
How? In what way?
Because it keeps him cleared, it keeps him focused, it keeps him sustainable on the path that he's on. But there's a but, like you just said, there will come a time. You focus on a problem, you're always focused on the problem.
Yeah.
You focus on a solution, let's take smokers, for instance, right? Somebody who quit smoking 20 years ago, do they identify as smokers?
No.
They don't. They say, I used to smoke, but I don't know more. Addiction is the same. Using drugs is the same as smoking. It's just a different poison. It's the same fucking process. But for some reason, with alcohol and drug use, we tend to adopt this belief system of, this is who I am.
But is that though, because like, you're an alcoholic or whatever, it's ruined your life. You get yourself clean, you go into a program or you do it yourself or whatever it is, you get yourself clean. Surely like the reason people identify lifelong as an addict is because they probably think, well, if I take my eye off this ball, or, it's only one bad day, but back on the fucking bevies, do you know what I mean?
And that's the story that you hear from a lot of people is if I don't identify as this, then, I can become complacent. Well, what they're doing there is they create another false limiting belief, or I'll call it limiting belief rather than false, that if I don't identify as an addict, then I will become complacent. Well, that's not true either. You can micromanage your days for months and months without calling yourself an addict and still moving forward. But the brain would rather feel safe than feel happy.
Right.
We've all got, I've told my story on these podcasts loads of times with you here, and I've probably told it differently 5 or 6 times, because even my story that I tell the world isn't necessarily 100% fact.
Yeah, we all have a narrative, don't we? Yeah.
There'll be pieces of my story that I've made up.
Or altered or whatever.
Or distorted.
Or bigged up, whatever it is, yeah.
The thing is, we feel safe in those stories, and when somebody questions those stories, we instantly go into like kickback mode. Well, the beauty is in understanding and sitting there and listening to them, going, okay, let's have a think about it. rather than just go, you fucking don't you question me. Well, I am questioning you. Your response is showing me something completely different to what you say you are. And that's where I've found the most power in just using positive language for the majority of the time, because I've still got my own insecurities.
But is there a risk then by putting everything through a positive language frame, right? Is there a risk that you sort of open yourself up to failing because you're just looking at everything? Oh, it's all fine, you know, like, is there a risk that there's like too much positive language can derail you? Do you know what I mean? Is there a risk of that, do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, for me,
because if you're going, I'm so great, I'm fucking brilliant, mate, you know, like,
well, I guess so. Behavior gives more definition than language.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So we can say we're one thing, but behavior and body language will tell us something completely different. And that's sort of where I've been for the last couple of months, where I say the right things a lot of the time. And for the majority of the time, I'll do the right things, but there's still old behaviors that creep in, whether that's, I don't know, being lazy or doom scrolling on my phone.
That's my worst one, man. Doom scrolling, man.
I still do it.
I'll show you my apps here. Look, I've got this thing where I've a block. See, I can't go on any of them now. I'm allowed on all of that for 1 hour a day, because I found that, obviously I'm mad productive. I just do mad shit all the time, right? And I found that this thing, if it just say that's your, replace the phone, because we're also used to a phone, right? If you had a box like that, and all you do every day, you open it up, you look in it, it makes you feel terrible, you shut it, you put it down, 2 minutes later, you pick it back up. If it was that, we'd all be freaking out. But because it's so normalized, and like, it's just fucking not good for the brain, man.
But I remember listening to this study. Have you heard of the rat park study?
No.
With rats, when they isolate this rat in a cage. And there's 2 water bottles. One of them's got cocaine and heroin in it.
Right, okay.
One of them's just got water in it. And while he's on his own, he focuses on the water that's got fucking cocaine and heroin in it to have a good time. Then they put him in a rat park with loads of other rats and fucking wheels and food.
Yeah, give him stimulus, basically, yeah.
And the same rat chooses the normal water.
Yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
So there's also another one where they get this rat to press a button. And I could be wrong with saying this, but every time he presses a button, he gets like an electric impulse in his body.
Right.
And every time he presses that button, it gives him the same impulse, but over a period of weeks or months or whatever it is, the rat gets demoralized, it becomes fucking depressed, it becomes malnourished, and eventually it dies. But it wouldn't stop pressing the button. Because it was...
I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
We all do that. I think life is a button that we're constantly pressing. You mentioned the word failure. So in NLP, there's like presuppositions, they're called. They're like unwritten laws. They're not necessarily factually true, but if you adopt these as sort of life rules...
Yeah, like an axiom for life.
You won't go wrong. Basically like the 10 Commandments in the Bible. And one of them is there's no such failure, there's no such thing as failure, there's only feedback. And
I get that a lot with, like, obviously I do a lot of science at home and stuff, and I've always been quite an impatient person, very short-tempered, very just impatient. And I've noticed that since I've started doing my research and experiments and stuff at home, is that, like, when something doesn't work at first, my first instinct would be, fuck's sakes, I spent a lot of time on that, you know. And now it's like, okay, what have I learned from this? You know, and I think that's right. I think his feedback is...
I remember listening I love basketball. I remember listening to Kobe Bryant. And he missed this 3-point shot to win the game, and they lost. And the woman said to him after, how do you feel about it? And he said, feelings have got fuck all to do with it. He said, I didn't master the process. And we know how fucking well he turned out to being a basketball player. But the way he said it, feelings have got nothing to do with it. Obviously in life, feelings do have a massive part to play. But what he was saying is, I just didn't master the process. And what I've got to go back and do now is learn to master that process better. And he became one of the fucking greatest basketball players of all time. Michael Jordan, they said, you know, how did you become so clinical that you won 3 back-to-back titles and you won 6 in total? And he said, I missed over 7,000 shots in my life. That's how I become so good.
You're right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So it's about perception is huge as well. And, you know, we can say that we failed, or we can pick ourselves up and do something again. I'm doing things in my life now that I'd never fucking dream of doing. You know what I mean? Never. Fucking 3.5, 4 years ago, I was sat in the dark room.
And I was with you.
Exactly.
No, but that's the thing. Like, do you think that I've got some notes here and I'm jumping around a little bit, but like one of the notes I've got here is environment change. So you're saying like when you were sitting in the dark room, fucking whiffing it, like that's so normalized in certain circles that we both move in. That's just a normal thing to do. And I think to break that, you have to change your environment, change your circles, give yourself purpose, like rebuild your identity, like exactly what you're doing, you know. So I'm not surprised that you've made the leaps you've made because you've done those things, you made those changes, you know.
Like environment, and this is something I've spoken a lot about. Have I showed you the iceberg model that I use?
I'm not sure, I don't know.
I think I spoke to you about it before at the bottom.
Yeah.
Then values, beliefs, skills, behaviors, environment. And it's something that me and John spoke about a lot because realistically, my environment hasn't changed. I still live in the same town.
Yeah, but you're not sitting in the fucking pub all day, you know.
So, but it sort of makes it even more difficult because a lot of people will go to a program of some form, whether it's a rehab center, whether it's a 12-step program, whether, you know, something along those lines. But I didn't really change my environment. Granted, I don't see, and I'll call them my mates. You hear a lot of people say they were never truly my friends. Of course they were. Some of these lads have been with me through some darkest moments.
Yeah.
So I'll never not call them my friends. I still love them, but I'm just on a different journey now. I'm on that, you know, talk about quantum physics. I'm just on a different fucking timeline. And that's how it genuinely feels. I genuinely, mate, and I mean this, I feel like that version of me was something from a past life.
Right.
Like I died and fucking come back a completely different person. Me and Zoe were on about it the other day, and she said, "Do you think you've always been this person?" I got somebody messaged me, somebody that I've only just met. I think it was me boss in work, and he said, "You know, what was his words? I don't really make many friends with people." He said, "I'm a bit of a lone wolf, but with you, I just seem to have resonated with you," and I get that a lot. I get that a lot with a lot of people. And a few people have said it in the past. You've got this like primeval aura. You know what I mean? Like an old caveman aura or whatever it is. And John, he said to me, you know, when I speak, it's almost like people listen because it's almost like I'm singing. There's like a harmony to the words that I say. I can't see it.
That's self-sucking what you're doing.
Yeah,
I'm fucking great, mate.
No, I genuinely can't see it. Like we were saying before,
Right.
I can't see it.
Right.
But a lot of people tell me it.
Right.
When Zoe first met me, she said, I don't know, there was a few people said there's just something about you. Might be true, might be not. Well, to them it is. To me,
yeah.
I don't see it.
But even with all the progress you've made,
I see me as a person. I know exactly but this aura thing.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it feels like I'm a different person, mate. And genuinely, so yeah, going back to what Zoe said. Zoe said, do I think I've always been this person? And I think, well, I have. When I was a teenager, like you're an artist, I was into like football and all that sporty stuff. But deep down, I remember when I used to stay in at fucking dinner times and write poetry and stories with my little mate, Johnny Edwards, who was a poet witness.
Right.
But over the years growing up, and then obviously because I was decent at football, I sort of stayed away from it.
Yeah.
But then you go.
And it's also as well, like obviously I know coming from like the creative world, is that round here, especially like, you know, the people we sort of know, that kind of being creative and vulnerable and expressing yourself in a vulnerable way, people just think, oh, fucking gay that, you know. And then when you're young, you go, oh, fucking hell, I can't do that because my mates will think I'm an idiot or whatever, you know.
I was doing some values work the other day with John, and one of my top values is creativity. Like this is creative. This
all of this is, or even this is. Do you know what I mean?
This skull here embodies me. That's what I made it for. But for each value, we have to write a behavioral statement, a supporting belief, and a limiting belief.
Give me some examples of that then. So
for each value, you have a context statement. So my context statement was something along the lines of, I value creativity because to be vulnerable is to be who I truly am as a person. The supporting belief was creativity aligns me with purpose or something along those lines. But the limiting belief was, in my environment where I grew up, creativity or vulnerability is a sign of weakness.
Yeah, it's viewed as suspicious, isn't it? Yeah, people are suspicious of it.
Look at him, a fucking big fanny.
Yeah, well, who do you think he is writing songs, put money into it?
Said it to me all my life, you're soft, you. Well, there's being soft, and then somebody attacked my family, then I'm not going to be soft.
Yeah. It's all context dependent, isn't it?
Exactly. But for me, I enjoy being soft. I enjoy being vulnerable enough to have a deep conversation with somebody. Or mate, me and Stu have only known each other, 18 months, 2 years? But as soon as I met him, we got on dead well, because what purpose does it have to be a knobhead to people?
Yeah.
And granted, I am the enemy in certain people's...
Many people's books.
But for me, like, that was when I was in the height of madness, from the age of 17, 18 up until 35, 36, when I was taking drugs.
Good runner, it like.
Now I feel as though I'm engaging more with that teenage version of me.
Right.
When your mate Tom Collins was there and I read that poem out to me, I got emotional reading it. That's who I've always been. But then I started, when we talked the iceberg, I was operating from environment and behaviors all the time. I didn't know what my values were. I didn't know who I was as a person. When you know it just as much as I do, when you're in full-blown addiction, you're lost, man.
Yeah, because all you give a fuck about is how can I get stuff right now?
One of the biggest questions we ask ourselves is, who am I? What am I? What is my life? I wake up, I take drugs, stay up for 2 days, fall asleep, wake up,
rinse and repeat.
Do it again. Yeah. And it gets to the point where we don't understand who we are. So for me, that the last 12 months has been understanding Lee. That's why I started studying neuroscience and fucking psychology and NLP.
But to understand yourself more. Yeah. That's probably a good reason to do it, though.
If we don't know ourselves, how can we truly help somebody else? It's almost like a false narrative.
It's like, I'm asking you this when I kind of think I know the answer. Like, so you said, how can I help other people when I help myself? Is that like a big, I think I know the answer, but is that like a big driver for you? You want to help other people not make the mistakes you made?
100%. And sometimes it comes across as quite anal, because like I say to people, there's a lot of people in the addiction circles or recovery circles that will identify as an addict, when I know it's not true. Now, to them it is. But like the conversation we've had today, I've tried to say to somebody, look, you're limiting your possibilities as a human being, because, if you're going to give yourself the belief system as you're always an addict, there's a ceiling, and you'll never. There's a lad, Mad Mike. He's quite famous on social media in the recovery circles, but I knew it. I could see it coming. I've
seen it. I've seen it. I don't know who he is, but is he relapsed? Is that what it is? I've seen it on
by the looks of it, he seems like a dead sound bloke. But every one of his videos is around using drugs. He makes jokes about it.
Right.
Phoning his drug dealer and he's making jokes about it. And that's, no problem. I've got no issue with it. But I could see there was a relapse in him. Now, I'm not saying relapse is the be all and end all and it's fucking terrible. But if you don't want to use, it doesn't enter my brain. Literally. Never. Not asked. Genuinely doesn't.
Yeah, but okay, like, so you're not identifying as an addict, right? But I mean, touch wood, I'm just talking shit. Say your relationship breaks down, you lose your job, insert bad thing here. What are your tools then to not go back down those paths?
I think that the first two most important tools I've learned are honesty and accountability, and not with anybody else, but with myself. I think that, when we're sat on our own and we're fucking questioning every fucking step we've ever took in life, we try to fulfill the prophecy of action of whatever we've done. We try to, what's the word I'm looking for? We try to make excuses almost for, I've done this, well, she's done this, and we fucking, and the reality is we've probably just been a bit of a dickhead and you need to accept it. And then obviously, me and Zoe actually had this conversation. She said, if I died tomorrow, what would you do? She's asked me it a couple of times, and when I first stopped using it, like, I'd probably go off fucking rails. But I wouldn't. For me, it's like, I know who I am now. I've got kids to look after, and I've said, and I did it years ago where the kids they didn't really enter my mind, and that sounds selfish, but I was just struggling. I was fucking suffering.
Yeah, you're in a different world, aren't you, in that state?
But for now, one thing I've took from a 12-step program, the lad who I was talking to before, actually, connection is protection. Don't isolate yourself. Be around positive people. Be around people who understand. Be around people who genuinely want to help you and not just want to fucking rinse you dry. But then also focusing on a solution rather than a problem. That, like I said, the more you focus on a problem, your reality becomes one big problem. You're focusing on solutions, your reality becomes solutions. And that, you know, it'd be difficult. It'd be really, really difficult. But I know for a stone cold fact I'd come out of it the other end.
I always thought, obviously, Grandad died fucking 6 months ago, and all my life, because like he was like a dad to me when my dad fucked off. So like all my life, as I watched him get older, I was thinking like, there's not a world, I can't function in this world without him in my life. And I always used to think like, when he does go, I'm gonna go off the fucking rails and just like abyss, you know, fucking swan dive into the abyss, and like fucking it never happened, you know, like, because I'm in a different place to what I was when I used to think those thoughts, you know, and I've got a support network around me and we're all there for each other. And
there's two things I take away from that. So like my nana and granddad from Flint, they were like my mum and dad. I was in their house every day as a kid. And like my granddad's Bryn died Christmas 2019, and my nana, you know, what day is it? Tuesday, actually. She died this Tuesday 4 years ago.
Right.
And I was the same, but I was in off the rails mode already. Well, that was happening, so it was just one more fucking layer to add.
Yeah, of madness, yeah.
And then, but like, if that was to happen again, I know for a fact I'd be a different person.
Is that just because, no, but like, is that just because you're in a different place now, or is it because you've got tools to deal with it that you didn't used to have?
It's both.
Right.
I genuinely am a different person.
I see that as well.
Yeah, I feel it. I
think this is giving you, as we're talking about identity, I think when you started taking this seriously, you know, with this place and all that, I think that has given you another facet to your identity. Is like, instead of just being Lee Cokehead, you know, it's like Lee ex-cokehead and fucking, and this is like a new, you meet new people. It's like a new lease on life. I can see that in you, man.
It's weird because me and you spoke about it. People have started calling me Zito.
Big Zito.
Big Zito. At first I thought this is weird, but you know, it's part of who I am now. It's part of what I want to, you know, become in the future, and I don't see any issue with it. Like, I really don't. Just touching back on that thing, I was speaking to your mom the other week, talking about limiting beliefs. Me and you spoke about it before. I went through my old fucking young adult life, and even up in mid-30s, thinking like, your side, my dad's side of the family, my nan and granddad, no, but they don't love me. And your mum showed me a photo of me and granddad when I was a kid.
I've seen it, yeah.
And he's giving me a kiss, like, and I was like, it got me emotional, like, and I was like, fucking hell. And it's sad because there's a lot of people that go through that in life, believing that that's fucking real. And it's sad because it takes away moments that you, like, I used to see you and Ellie and, you know, with them, and I'd almost feel envious, jealous.
Yeah.
But then also that'd bring on an anger, which leads to resentment, which leads to not behaving the right way, which leads to an outcome of probably getting off your fucking head and drinking. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? All these little things. But I was sat there and I was sat with Zoe when your mum showed me that photo, and I was like, you know, it's never been true. Do you know what I mean? But unfortunately.
But you don't, when you're a kid, you don't have the bigger picture, do you?
No.
You just, your feelings are, you don't see your fucking nan and granddad, so they mustn't love you.
100%.
And that's all it is. That's all the
100%.
reference you've got, isn't
it? It doesn't help. Doesn't help the parents.
I'm telling you, mate, fucking hell.
One of them ain't, well,
Mad and Hatter.
Yeah. Loved him that much that she fucking hated him. But yeah, I mean, it was a valuable lesson. But even that, like, me and Zoe said about it, we should go and see Nana.
Yeah.
And even Zoe, when I remember Nana said to your mum something like, I think Nana must have known Zoe was my girlfriend. She was like, don't let her come here again. But I think it was your mum or my dad said the other week that Nana said, oh, when's Zoe coming down again?
Nice.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. So that is something that I should do more of. Family in itself, like me and you both know, fucking both sides of the family, and your dad's you're fucking all mental. It's difficult though, because you feel as though you're on your own journey as well. And sometimes it's just easier to take the direct route, isn't it, and not get involved in all the fucking madness. And that's why I wouldn't say I've turned into a hermit as such, but I don't really see any of my mates no more. I don't see anyone. But I enjoy it because the people that I want in my life are in my life.
Do you go to the pub at all?
No.
Never?
Never.
Never, ever?
Never.
Mad.
Don't want to. It gives me...
Could you?
So here's one. Me and Zoe went out just before Christmas. We went to food in Liverpool. We had a few beers.
Right.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
We went out at 5:30. I think we were home by 9:30.
Yeah.
From Liverpool.
Yeah.
So there's an hour in between. We stopped off at Chester, had a pint or two in a pub in Chester. We come home, got some food, and we were home by like 10:30. And even she was like, fucking hell. And I said it.
But I still had a good time. Fucking, yeah.
Like I met Kev, my mate. He's been poorly, so we went, spent a couple of hours with him. But for me, it was like, I want to go home here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be out. I don't want to be here. I was looking around like this.
What, not because of like, I'm going to get on it, just because the environment's not what you want to be in anymore.
For me, it was just like, this isn't.
I get that.
I just don't want to be here.
I get that. Like, so the Stag was my local. I spent my fucking life in there from 16 to 32, whatever. And like now the thought of like being out in a pub full of people that I don't really know or don't really, I just can't be fucking arsed with, mate. I just can't be bothered.
The Swan for me, I was going in there at 12, 13 with my granddad. Like, and this isn't against anybody or anything. I just couldn't think of nothing worse than going and sitting in there. But that's purely based off who I want to be and where I'm going. Like, I've got enough fucking difficulties at the moment dealing with me old behaviours. Doom scrolling or fucking sat there doing absolutely nothing. Like, just existed in the living room for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I do that.
I've been in a bit of that myself lately, mate.
I can put a film on and then another film and then another film.
Yeah.
All the positive things that I'm doing. There's also a lot of, not negative, frustrating things that I'm doing. And then sometimes I'll sit there and I'm like, what the fucking hell are you doing here? Get up and do something.
Yeah, I know, I get it.
But I'd say that's the biggest frustration for me.
But isn't it mad? Because obviously you're doing all your qualifications and you hypnotherapy, all that stuff, and I'm doing the masters and all this stuff, right? Isn't it mad that even though you can have a million things to do, sometimes you don't have the exact, even with all your growth and all your improvements, same with myself, right? You can have all this cool fucking shit going on and a roadmap of how to get there, but some days you just sit there and can't do it. What the fuck? Even though I love it. Yeah. I love doing it. Like I look at my laptop and think, right, I'm going to go and fucking work on this computer thing I'm working on or whatever. And the laptop's sitting there like that. And there's like a barrier in front of me. And I'm like, I've improved so much from where I used to be. But then I don't got bipolar and it's ups and downs and that. But some days I just can't find the fucking executive function to do stuff, man.
See, and like what you've just said there, that behavior you just explained is something that I do. I haven't got bipolar though. But what you did, you give definitions of the bipolar aspect to almost, and I'll use the word excuse for this. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do it. And I spoke with John about it. So the gym was something I was into massively for years. But last year, because I was focusing so much on this, I barely went. Now I'm starting to get back into the gym more. And I asked him, I said, why do you think that is? And he said, because you don't value it as much as you think you do. And
I think as well, I don't know, but I think so. When you are heavy gym mode and all that, it's like an external validation, isn't it? Get big, get the lads fucking proud, but then as you change your mindset and that, you're kind of getting that, you're getting the validation and all the stuff you need elsewhere. You're getting that same, you've got community, you've got John, you've got all the people that you're involved with, all the people you meet here and that. You've built another community that you can surround yourself by,
And that's it. So like John said to me about my values, so my top five values are like clarity, curiosity, connection, harmony, and creativity. But the fact is, the harmony aspect is what a limiting belief again. What I thought was just the gym, harmony of mind and body.
Right. Okay. And
that's what I thought harmony meant to me. But I've realised it's a part of it, but it's not the whole thing.
Right.
Harmony is this.
Yeah.
Harmony is having the ability to sit at home and truly feel comfortable with my family.
Yeah, okay.
Is having the ability to understand that the job I have brings fulfillment. Do you know what I mean? But for a long time, I was like, well, harmony just means my body's not right, my brain's not fucking right.
Right.
It's nonsense. But what we realised was, so when you talk values as a person, your number one value will always outweigh the number two. Number two will always outweigh number three. And my value for harmony or the gym was like number 4 or 5. So creativity, curiosity, clarity, and connection will always overmind harmony.
Mm.
So the fact that I'm being inquisitive and curious around the education will always outweigh going to the gym.
Were you in school? I know you said you wrote poetry and stuff, but were you like, were you a tearaway in school? Were you focused?
I think
I know what I'm asking you, sorry, is have you always been curious and education focused, or is that a thing that's come with the clarity you've got now?
one of my best subjects in school, mate, was RA.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah, cool, man.
But I didn't even try. I just knew. I just liked it.
Right.
But then obviously you can't be a cool character and love fucking rap.
Yeah. You can't be in a gangster rap outfit and be yeah, and preaching on the days off, like.
Yeah, exactly. So, but and that this is something where I've got to now. It's like I love listening to fucking, I've listened to the Quran on an audio box in bed.
And I'm listening to Kerrang.
Well, yeah, I mean, we should never limit ourselves, and that's what I think a lot of people in our environment do. We limit ourselves to the environment, and for a long time, mate, I thought this is all I'll ever be.
Yeah, same when I was in the heights of the powders, man. Yeah, same.
It's quite sad to say, mate, but like in my 20s, and me and Zoe were talking about it the other night, like I'd use drugs while the kids were in bed.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And they'd come down at 7 a.m, and I'd be stood in the kitchen.
Yeah, twitching.
And we're like, what the fuck are you doing?
I know.
And she was looking at me like, are you being serious? I'm like, yeah. But for me, that was, my granddad Bryn worked all his life, but loved the fucking swill.
Right, okay. Yeah, supper like.
He had his own jug in the Swan. It was like a pint and a half jug.
Right, yeah.
But that's what I thought, looking after your kids, working all week, and then going from getting fucking smashed on a weekend.
But that kind of was until like the age of the internet, where you can reach out to and make a community anywhere, you could learn anything you want. Prior to the internet, I think that kind of was the path. I'd like think of like my mum's fella Loz, right? My dad, stepdad. Think of him, right? He left school at 16, got a job in the steelworks where his dad worked. And he worked there for 20 odd years. Like if he wanted to be a fucking, insert mad creative thing here, what was the pathway in 1980? You know what I mean? What was the pathway to do that? There's just not.
And I think, well, musicians and artists and stuff better than I do. They were the people that were around now, they were all around there. You just didn't know them as much because the internet wasn't around. You couldn't see Tony Robbins doing a fucking speech in New Zealand on the internet in the 80s, but it's all still happening.
Yeah, okay.
But the fact that we limit ourselves to the environment, and because we were talking about it before, because this is all we can see, this is all we can believe is possible. We couldn't, I'll use a generalized statement here, but nobody my mum couldn't see herself living in Australia in a fucking 5-bedroom house because it was not something that she deemed possible due to the environment telling her so. It was all still available. It was all still true and achievable. Nobody knew it was there. You know what I mean? So that's where the internet has been good because, you can reach across the other side of the fucking planet now. But in my 20s and 30s, that's what I thought was normal. I thought getting a fucking bond on a weekend was
all there was to it. Yeah,
this is what you do.
Same.
This is how you grow up. This is what adult life is.
Yeah, same.
Reality is that's not true. It's about. Well, I suppose it was my reality, but it's not true. If I could go back and change it, absolutely I would. Would I be sat here now? Maybe.
Do you think you would have, say you would have met John, mentor, say you would have met him 10 years ago? Would you have listened to him, or would you have thought, fucking, that's pretentious bullshit or whatever?
To say yes, but my body and my mind telling me no.
Right.
My mind's not my body. I'd probably say no because, like he said, when the student's ready, she'll show us.
Yeah.
And I think 10 years ago, I was balls deep in this hedonistic world and going on holidays to Disneyland and Vegas and fucking doing all these things just to look cool.
Right.
Even though this part of me has always been there, in them days it was very much asleep.
Right.
And I don't think 10 years ago, if I was living the same life, I'd have probably looked at him and gone, fuck's he talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that is maybe it's the wrong kind of question to ask you, really, because I suppose like youth is a bit dismissive of elders and of mentors. And like, I remember I was in a studio in France. Some guy had paid for me to go over to France and do a record. And I was fucking in the studio and all that, fucking all this multi-million-pound studio. And the guy was like, have you thought about changing that lyric? And I was like, mate, are you fucking mad? Listen to how good that lyric is. And I said, no one's ever done that. And looking back now, he was 100% right. The lyric wasn't going nowhere. Like, it was too out there. And he said, oh, you need to simplify it. And I was like, fuck off, man. But he was right, you know, and it took me 10 years to realize it, you know.
I had a conversation with Georgie before my son, for anybody that doesn't know. He's 18 next month.
Is he? Yeah.
18. He's 6'1", 6'2". And he's talking about the gym and how people take steroids, and obviously he's being influenced by fucking social media, and he's like, well, what do you think of growth hormone, and what do you think of this? And I'm trying to tell him.
Does he know about your history?
Yeah, I've told him. I've told him everything, and I've said, look, mate, I've took steroids, I've took growth hormone, do not go near it. Yeah, but I'll only, you know, if I was to ever do it, I'd only do a little bit. I'm like, look, you're opening the door for a world of trouble there.
Yeah, a world of pain.
Yeah. He won't listen to me, and he's like, well, how do I, because he sleeps a lot, and teenagers do.
Yeah, man.
But what he's telling me is it's making him feel sad.
Right.
But you know, he's big into gaming. I think he was like 15th in the world once, like 5 world records or something stupid. But I've said to him, micromanage your days, get up early, go for a walk. You know, and we try to overcomplicate life a lot of the time. But like you said it before. You know, when you went up the fucking fields with your mates running or going for a walk or whatever, these things work, man. They help us to build positive habits, positive behaviors, which in turn changes your world without you knowing it.
But it's hard to say that to someone who's
really
18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He thinks I'm just his dad.
Yeah, some old fuddy-duddy, like, yeah.
Dad, you fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was going to say with age comes wisdom, but it doesn't. You know, it's knowledge can be power. But it's the application of knowledge that is power.
Yeah.
It's like John says, if knowledge was power, librarians would rule the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the application of...
I want to live in a world where they do.
Yeah.
Fucking right, I do.
Yeah. For me, it's like, I've got all this knowledge now and I just need to apply it and embody it. This year's all around embodiment.
Right.
Like then I built a 100-chapter Bible.
Yeah.
But what I've got to do now is I've got to embody it where it becomes unconscious language. So I can start teaching people these.
There's a thing I was doing in one of the, I don't know what module it was on the Masters up in Wrexham, and it was about like motivation, extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. And it's like basically you can want something to motivate you, but until you internalize that, then it's external until it's internal. Do you know what I mean?
In NLP, you have internal motivation, external motivation, and towards motivation and away from motivation.
Right.
So towards motivation is when you've got goals, aspirations. But even when we talk aspirations, you'll never sustain performance just based off an aspiration. You sustain performance based off your standards and behavior. And what I was trying to explain to Georgie was by micromanaging your behaviors and making small movements, you're going towards, I call it true north.
Right.
We use that word in Kimberley Parks, didn't we? True north is where your vision of where you want to be.
Right.
And that's like my new Zito Institute that I've got. It's a Z, but it's got an arrow going diagonal. And that's what true north is.
Right.
It's about learning or finding or discovering who you are. And like, I'm fucking going off track a little bit here, but that's sort of where I am at the moment. It's like all this stuff is going towards.
I think that's where I've kind of been struggling. So a couple of years ago, so obviously I've done the band thing on my life, record labels and all that shit. And a couple of years ago, I started putting events on and got some investors and stuff like that. And I knew I had business plans or a financial forecast. I had all this stuff and I was so fucking focused on what I was doing, right? And I woke up every day, bang, fucking just on it. You know, I knew exactly where I was going. And then for various reasons, that all stopped and come to a head. And so I had to sort of evaluate, started doing the masters and started working over in Spain and doing all this stuff, right? But it's from the masters, I've started doing all this stuff with neural networks. So I've told you about it. I'm starting to do all this really fucking wild shit with computers, and it's all really exciting and it's giving me all the dopamine and all that, but there's no plan. There is no plan. So I think when I talked to you before about not being able to touch the laptop, you're not having executive function, I think for me, it's because I haven't structured true north yet. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing all this cool shit and it's so satisfying, right? I go to bed, my mind buzzing about how great, oh God, I've learned this thing, or I've worked this fucking equation out or whatever. But then I don't know what the goals are. What, I'm just going to be a guy who makes plasma balls think. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck's the point in it?
So when, have you heard of Simon Sinek?
No.
Simon Sinek's a YouTube, he's got like the most viewed TED Talk on YouTube,
Right.
like 45 million views. And he talked about self-mastery and leadership and culture. He studied like anthropology and stuff like that. So John, he does all that as well. John's got he's an octopus, man. Do you know what I mean? He's into everything. And when we talk about identity, or in the workplace, let's call it a business, you look at Apple always beat Microsoft or Dell or Vodafone because their vision was more powerful. We don't buy what we want, we buy why we want it. Do you know what I mean? So Apple, you look at the apple and it's got a bite out of it. The apple is the apple from the Garden of Eden. So what you're doing is you're taking a bite out of ancient knowledge. Right. Do you know what I mean? That was Apple's vision,
right? To
create a world where knowledge is at your fingertips,
right?
And that's why people bought it. He talks about somebody from another phone company or tech company, and somebody says to Simon Sinek, "Well, their tech is better than." He says it to Steve Jobs. Their tech's better than yours. I think it was remember the old iPods? Microsoft or somebody had brought they brought one out that was better than the iPod, but the iPod was still selling more. And Simon Sinek said to Steve Jobs, theirs is well better than yours.
Isn't it something, I think I've read about this, so wasn't it something like Microsoft, they said, this has got 200 gigabytes, which means nothing to most people, and Apple went, this is 100,000 songs, which instantly, that's recognizable, you know.
Yeah. And Simon says to him, you know, their tech's better than yours, and Steve Jobs went, sure it is.
Right.
Like, when you talk about business or even life, you have, I think the word's finite. You have, the infinite game.
And the finite,
And finite. So finite is like life. One day we'll be dead. But infinite is like, in business can be infinite. It can
get outlast CEOs, outlast nations. Fucking,
And that's where Steve Jobs was saying, but we're infinite. They're finite.
Right.
So because Apple's vision was that powerful that nobody give a fuck if that somebody else's tech was better than theirs, because the vision and the why, people knew what the why was.
Right.
Well, Apple make fucking, you know, information at your fingertips. Whereas Dell's or Microsoft
makes a laptop,
computer. Do you know what I mean? Same fucking thing.
Yeah. But it's a bit like, is Nike a trainer company, or is it the thing that allows you to be the best athlete you can be?
Do it.
You know what I mean? It's
that's it. Something as simple, but they had like Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. Do you know what I mean? And the best in the world. That's what Nike was simple.
But it's like, again, it's like selling that illusion, isn't it? Because like it's just a fucking trainer at the end of the day, but it makes you feel like you can run a mile in 1 minute. It makes you feel like you can fucking pole vault, you know, it makes you feel like you can do anything.
Air Jordans, that's why they're so fucking expensive. Because Michael Jordan wore them.
Yeah, and you will become a bit of him if you've got them on, you know what I mean?
Doing basketball, and it's like, I'm the fucking man.
Yeah.
So it's powerful to create that vision. So when you talk individually from the iceberg model, so you have identity, values, beliefs, all that, but at the top or the bottom, you'll write a purpose statement.
Right.
And I've got my purpose statement somewhere on my phone, on my screensaver. So like that there. So
right, okay,
back, I am. It's got loads of stuff in there that I've embodied over.
Is this from journaling and stuff like that? All this comes from.
So I can show you it if you want one day.
Yeah.
You'll go through.
I thought, sorry to cut across, but mate, Tom, obviously you did a podcast with Tom that the computer fucked up, we've lost it. But I was in a session with him the other day. We were doing some writing, and he was saying that that it changed his life because he's like me, really. He's a bit like embarrassed about being talented, you know, like where it's a little bit like, oh God, I don't like it. Do you think I'm good? He doesn't like it. And you said a great thing to him. I can't remember what it was. You asked him a question and he was like, yeah, well, you know, and you said you need to get out of that mindset. And when I seen him the other day, he was saying like he's going to work on that part of things, you know, and I think I do as well. I think I do.
Well, so when we talk visions, right? So I'll show you it one day. I'll come to your house, or we'll do it over WhatsApp. So what you do is on the left-hand side of the iceberg, you'll go through your identity, what you believe you are now, I am statements, all positive though, nothing negative. Then you go through your beliefs, then your values, then your skills, then your behaviors, then your environment. Then on the right-hand side, you'll write everything you want it to be in your vision, whatever your vision is.
All right.
All for my vision.
Give me some examples of yours then.
So my vision. So I drew it. John got me to draw it. It was basically a fucking A4 piece of paper, and I drew what my vision wanted to be. And my vision was stood on a TEDx stage. The podcast was next to the stage. I had a crowd of all the people that I wanted to speak to. My fucking childhood self was in the back of the room, and all the posters on the walls. So the posters were like NLP, psychology, trauma psychology, communication, all different fucking skills and abilities. And then I had a picture of my face on the side with tears, green tears, and inside the tears there was words NLP, like pictures of.
This is all drawn.
All drawn.
Right.
I can't draw for shit.
Mm.
But the drawing is irrelevant. It's the association.
The process, yeah.
So but he made you use bright colours, bold colours. So the main colour of vision is blue.
Right.
That creates a sense of clarity and direction through the colour blue. That's all psychological, like red is anger.
Mm.
Yeah. So I just drew it. And then off that vision, then I transferred it onto the iceberg model. And it was like, okay, to create that vision, what identity do you need? Versus what you have now, what identity do you need? What skills do you need? What behaviors do you need? What values do you need? What environment do you need to be in? And then on the right-hand side, I'd write down a fucking full list of them. Then he went deeper into, like, you've heard of the Fibonacci sequence. 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 1 is 3, 3 and 2 is 5. But what the Fibonacci sequence does, it builds momentum. So then we'd write like 5 values or 13 behaviors or 21 skills, all up to the power of 100. But it's funny because the podcast me and you did with Paddy Doherty was my 100th video on YouTube.
Was it? Yeah.
And it got like 400 subscribers and over 10,000 views. Granted, it was Paddy Doherty, but you see how it all sort of, on the 100th video.
Was it 100th? Yeah, that's cool.
Which was weird.
I forgot about that, actually. That was a mad old day, wasn't it? Yeah.
But John was speaking about the power of 100, and it just seemed ironic that all that happened around the number 100.
Right.
But it's about, when we talk about identity, you don't find identity, you design it.
Right.
So you literally design
No,
it.
we do. I know we do, yeah.
And that's what people say, you want to find purpose.
Mate, there's this guy, sorry, he just made me laugh thinking about it, right? There's this guy that I've known, I'll tell you who his name is off the thing, you probably know him, right? I've known him for years, right? I knew his family and that. He's a sweet boy, right? A really lovely, lovely lad, right? He's a lot younger than me, about 5-6 years younger than me. And he's such a nice guy, really sweet. Like, likes his music and all that. And then he started selling gear, right? About 3 years ago. And then, I was at my mate's house and he was there and he was normally like, "Hey, girl, you okay?" And he was sitting there like that. And I said, "Oh, you're doing a bit, are you?" Anything to make the paper, bro. And it's like, you've built this fucking drug dealing narrative when you're not one. Do you know what I mean? He's not one at all. He's just a really nice kid. Like, it's mad.
Well, he's just adopting an identity.
Yeah. 100%.
Mad, mate. We do. Like people say about purpose. What is my purpose in life? Well, we have multiple purposes. Again, we talk about identity. You have different roles in identity. So identity is like, for me, it'd be one role of identity is being a father. One is being in a relationship with Zoe. One is being in a relationship with family. One is friends. One is business.
Career, yeah.
One is self-care. So you have like 8 roles of identity that we have. But for each one of them, you have a purpose. My purpose here now will be different to the purpose with my son.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's context dependent, isn't it? Yeah, man.
So when people say I need to find purpose, well, you just need to find multiple purposes. Life isn't, it's not one direction.
And I'm guessing in order to sort of live a fucking healthy and fulfilled existence, the multiple purposes can't be conflicting. You can't be like, I want to be a really good father and the best cocaine taker in the world. You can't have conflicting.
So your values will go across all fucking roles,
right?
All roles of identity. Whereas someone I've been talking about lately, like when I'm in work, I've got one hat on.
Yeah, man. Well, my first presentation in the Masters, I called it the spinning of plates, the spinning of the plates. And it was like, obviously in the creative world, it used to just be like, this guy mixes the records, this guy promotes the records, this guy writes them. Now it's, you have to wear a million hats, you know, and I see it as you just keeping them, the different plates spinning, you know.
Your values have to align across plates, otherwise they'll fall.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have done it the same as me, where you'll have a dead good idea and then it'll wither away and die under the fucking couch. That's because your values as a person have overhauled whatever that idea was. It might be a brilliant idea to you, but after 6 months, you're like, oh, you much I want to do this.
Yeah, or you've seen it like the different angle to it. You think, well, maybe it's not as great idea as I thought, you know.
Our values will always control the outcome of anything. The values, behaviors, fucking beliefs, all of it. It's real, man. This shit's fucking real. And 18 months ago, I'd have fucking, you know, I'd have been calling myself a right knobhead. It's real, mate. It's fucking, it's there.
Well, the proof's in the pudding, because you were a fucking right knobhead. No, you're not.
I was, but I mean, this is now, like, she sees this different side of me. I see it. A lot of people do. People didn't see what I used to be like, because I'm not really one of these people. You see, you know, on social media, they'll post pictures of themselves in the fucking, the chaos of fucking addiction and mad photos. I'm not into all that. Like, I don't want people to see me. I took a couple of photos when I was like covered in blood and stuff. I'm not going to post them for people to see. Fuck that. I don't want to fucking relive that type of stuff. That's crazy. Fuck all that, mate. That's all done for me. No way.
Right, well, Zito Institute. Tell me a bit about the Zito Institute.
Well, obviously Zito comes from the podcast, and the name just sounded cool. I think the Zito Institute of Performance and Identity. So at first, I just thought I wanted to speak to people about mental health and addiction, because that's sort of, that was my story.
Yeah.
But the more I'm digging into myself, like sports, I've always been into sports. You would be thinking, looking at me now, but I was good at football.
Yeah, I remember you playing football, yeah.
So, like...
I remember your dad knocking someone out who fouled you when you were about 18, 19. Broke his fucking jaw or something.
I remember waking up in the ambulance and the lad was strapped to the bed. He snapped my ankle and my dad broke his nose.
I'm sure he got £1,000 fine for that from the police.
Fan from every stadium. Said in the paper, football hooligan. He only had one leg at the time.
I remember.
Leg snap. So yeah, like the hypnotherapy I do, like there's a lot of stuff, like visualization in sports. Golfers use it. Tiger Woods used it for years, visualization.
Makes more sense.
So you're visualizing your goal.
Right.
So they've done, you've probably seen them. I think we've spoke about them on here before. They've done studies in America with like basketball. So they'll have like 3 groups of 5 people and they'll shoot the ball into the net. So the first group will physically train throwing the ball into the net. The second group will do fuck all. They won't train or nothing.
Right.
And then the third group just visualized it.
Right.
Not even on the basketball court. Oh, they'd visualize themselves throwing.
Yeah, just knowing they're going to get it. Yeah.
They had something, I'll say the wrong number, but for the sake of the conversation, it's something like 30% increase.
Right.
Just through visualization.
Right.
They improved by like 30%.
Yeah. I kind of get that, because like, obviously I'm not a sporty guy. I mean, look at the fucking state of me. But like, when the mates, what's it called? Like air rifles and shit, you know, like target shooting and that. And I've never done any of that. And we went and like, I thought, obviously I'm going to just be mega at this. I've watched a lot of fucking action movies and all that. And they had this tiny little target and I was just fucking about with the gun. And I just knew I was going to get it. And I held the whole rifle out at arm's length like that, and I shot this target that big. And it was like, what the fuck? I just knew I was going to do it, you know. Try and do it again, I wouldn't be able to do it. Do you know what I mean? But
have you ever seen the documentary with what's his name? Darren Brown.
Maybe
he makes that guy assassinate fucking Stephen Fry.
No, I've not seen it. No,
he's talking about like the Kennedy assassination and that.
Right?
Was it Kennedy's brother who got shot as well?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the guy who shot Kennedy's brother says, all I can remember is a lady in a polka dot dress.
Right. Yeah, like the Manchurian candidate, like been activated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Darren Brown reenacts this whole thing on a documentary. It's cool as fuck.
Mad.
Gets this guy out of a whole crowd. Like some people, it's all about power of suggestion.
Conditioning people, and yeah.
So he goes through all these people, he fucks them off, he finds this guy and he puts him in an ice bath. But before he gets in the ice bath, he says, "This is going to feel warm to you." Blah, 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 boom, get in. And he sat in his ice bath and they've got like a heat camera on him. His fucking whole body's purple. He's just sat there like, yeah, fine. Now he knows he's got the right guy. He takes him to a gun range and he's fucking firing down the target and all that everywhere. And then he does this fucking hypnotherapy with him and he says, when the phone rings, you're going to become an assassin. And he does all this sleep and blah, blah, blah. This guy's shooting, the phone goes off. Next minute, he's fucking like a
yeah, American Sniper style. Like,
and then he gets him to Stephen Fry's in on it, and the gun's fake, obviously. But he gets up in the middle of like this theatrical show, and there's a woman in a polka dot dress in front of him, and the phone goes off, and he just gets up.
No fucking way.
Fry drops on the floor.
No way.
The lie detector test after it with him, and said, "Can you remember shooting Stephen Fry?" And he's like, "What?"
No way.
No. And he says he's telling the truth.
Mad.
That's all through visualization technique.
Yeah, suggestion and
obviously Darren Brown's a fucking master at it.
Yeah.
But on a basic, when you talk a basic context of that, the mind doesn't know the difference between what you tell it and what is real.
Right.
So I think we did it on air, and I've done it with other people where you get them to visualize themselves in the kitchen, and they'll take a lemon, and this lemon is juicy, and you can feel it, the texture on your hand, and you squeeze the lemon.
In my mouth water now, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what I do for people. You get them to visualize themselves drinking lemon juice, and you go, you know.
Yeah.
Because the brain thinks you're drinking lemon juice.
Yeah.
So the brain doesn't know the difference between what you tell it and what is real. So we can create limiting belief systems like, I will always be an addict.
Yeah.
If you tell yourself you are that,
then it is that, yeah.
It becomes your reality.
Yeah, man.
But what I try and I do get a bit of kickback from it. What we're doing, you're limiting yourself. So like I said today, like, imagine you were Pep Guardiola and they say to you every year you can spend £1 billion on players and get to the Champions League final every year, but every year you're going to lose. Would you put your full effort and motivation?
No, because what's the point? It's a fucking forlorn hope, innit?
So when people identify with the terminology, I will always be an addict, it might keep them safe and it might keep them happy, but there's always the possibility of relapse.
Right.
Always.
Just because you've got that tag. Yeah.
It is for somebody who used to be a smoker, they say, well, I've stopped smoke.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah, I get it.
And there's defined outcomes in both those mindsets. And I just genuinely believe that one is dangerous. Now, that's not for me to tell people. They have to discover that themselves. But it is. It's dangerous. That, like going back to that Mad Mike, he's just relapsed after 2 or 3 years being sober. But his mindset is, I will always be this way because I've got this disease. When it's not true. I mean, the disease model of addiction is from the 1930s.
Is it, yeah?
From that Bill W., the guy who created the 12-step program. What people don't know is he was using LSD.
Right.
For his spiritual awakening. He was going and doing, visiting the Indians.
Right.
And doing mad spiritual trips with them, probably ayahuasca or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've got them as well. I've got limiting beliefs that I probably don't even know about. But when it's something so negative like that, I just feel as though it's dangerous.
I was saying this to Steph, Mrs. Obviously, I got diagnosed with bipolar at 19, was I 20, something like that, and tried meds, never liked it. And I'm medicated now, I take meds every day, but like for years, it didn't do nothing for me. And like, I say to Steph, like, I'm torn between one hand, I'm thinking like, cause I'm up and down all the time, right? And it's like to the point where sometimes where I can't leave the house and, you know, sit in the fucking dark for fucking 2-3 days, you know, like bad. And, so I'm up and down and like, so part of me is like, right, I've got bipolar, they're right. But the other part of me, I'm thinking, am I just a bit up and down? and I get fucking given this label that's now I've got to take these meds forever. You know, I can't drive a fucking car on these meds. I can't, you know what I mean? It's fucking heavy duty. They give them to schizophrenics. You know what I mean? It's heavy duty shit. And a part of me is like, is it all just labels? And I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but
I know what you're trying to say. I think for some people labels are good because then they can bring some sense of clarity.
Yeah, an understanding of why I'm this way and that. Yeah, which I think for me at first it was that. It really was, because I couldn't function. I just couldn't do anything. I didn't sleep, no drugs, just didn't go to bed. I'd just stay up for 5 days and be fucking hallucinating and just couldn't switch off. So when I got around, yeah, 100%, man. But yeah, and like when I got diagnosed, I was like, right, okay, that kind of explains A, B, C, and D, and I did find it useful. But I think now I'm fucking medicated up to my eyeballs. I take fucking loads of meds every day for various different things, right? My life hasn't improved. Like, my life hasn't improved. So what, like, if these are the things that fix this thing, why am I still the same? You know, I'm a bit better, you know, I just do sleep more now and I'm a bit more on the ball than he was when I was fucking 20. But like, I just feel like it kind of like limits me. And I said to the doctor, I said, like, my psychiatrist, I said, I feel like I'm in a different place than what I was now. So maybe I don't need to be on these meds. He's like, you don't remember what it was like when you were really bad and all that. You've forgotten what it was like. And I'm like, no, I fucking remember it fucking better than you, mate. I was there, like.
One sat with the black shadow.
You know what I mean? Fucking burning my fucking self and fucking, you know, like, I remember that. You don't remember that. I just think it's easy for him to say, oh, he's bipolar. But
I think with stuff like that, it is, you know, because of the severity of lifestyle, I guess, when, you know, suicide's an option, then someone has to intervene, don't they?
Well, that's, I mean, I used to try and kill myself all the fucking time, man.
But I think going forward, I think if you're in a place in your life where you feel as though it's limited, yeah, then
I feel like what it is like the tablets, they have some really negative side effects. Like if I take them too late at night, the bipolar meds, this is, honestly, for the first fucking 3 or 4 hours the next morning, I'm like a bag of shite, man. I just feel horrible, like can't seem to shake it. And then like they give me these ADHD meds, which are just fucking speed, like they're literally dimethyl amphetamine or something like that, and they give me them, and they do counteract the tiredness in the morning and the grogginess. They do counteract that, but then I'm up all day and I'm like fucking anxious and grinding my teeth, and it's like, fucking, what am I doing? I'm just adding tablets to the fucking mix to try and fix all the things. It's fucking mad.
I think your youth as well, because of the environment you were in, you know, touring with people like Pete Doherty, Raging Lunatic, and the sort of the avenue that you walk down as an artist, there is almost this connection of, you've got to be a little bit fucked up.
Yeah, it's acceptable. It's acceptable. Yeah. It's one of the, to be honest, like, music is one of the only jobs where that is acceptable, because you couldn't go into your fucking work. I mean, I know you did, but you know, like, you couldn't go into your fucking work off your fucking rocker. Mate, I fucking done a TV thing, man. I remember once, and if your mum's watching this, you don't know this, don't listen. But I remember I got booked to go on STV, which is like Scottish ITV, right? They booked me to go and play a live set in the studio. And I thought, right, what I'll do, this is me infinite wisdom. I'll get some gear the night before, and then I'll have that when I'm up in Scotland. Obviously, it didn't happen. I'd done it all in the night before. Didn't go to bed. I got picked up like 9 a.m. I banged a load of sleeping tablets before I got in the car, like fucking 6 or 7 sleeping tablets. Slept all the way to fucking Glasgow. Opened my eyes, the last bit of the bag, and then go and do a TV show. And no one said nothing. Hiya, Carl, I'm like, no one says nothing. Imagine doing that if you worked in a fucking butcher's. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't get away with it. Right. But in music, it's like, people like think that's cool. Yeah. So people are like, oh, it's all right. He's a rock star. Well, not rock star, you know what I mean? Rock and dole. You know what I mean? It's like people, it's accepted.
Yeah. But the thing is, you look at all the old rock stars, all right, you had the likes of Ozzy Osbourne and people like that who'd go for fucking 40 years. But even like Liam Gallagher, drugs, sex, rock and roll, cocaine and all that. Now he goes jogging every morning.
Yeah, with his dog. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
drinking fucking lattes.
It's good to have that rock and roll type of persona, but at the end of the day...
Don't kill yourself with it, innit? Yeah.
But I think, you know, you adopted it so much from an early age that become who you were, and you've never known anything different.
I was like, when I'd done the first stuff with Doherty, I was like 18, man. I was like a fucking baby. You know, imagine you're Georgie now, going on tour with Pete Doherty, for heroin everywhere and fucking, it was mad.
The paintings all up.
Yeah, blood and semen everywhere, like.
No, but I get it, and I think just because you've lived in that world for so long, you don't know anything different, and I think that is part of your identity. But I think, you know, like I said before, you genuinely are one of the most cleverest people I've ever met. but you're also mad erratic.
I know.
Don't understand yourself and just come up. Like the ideas you tell me about, we've been speaking about this for 12 months, and you come up with some fucking ideas, and I'm like, I ain't got a clue what you.
Neither do I most of the time.
Before, nothing will ever come from the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's just throwing shit at the wall, innit? What it is, and I like, so in computer science and stuff, they have like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like problem-driven development. So like you analyze, you pick a problem, outline a problem, and you work out a way to solve it. Right?
Yeah, we do.
But I think what my problem is I'm doing dopamine-driven fucking development. So I have a mad idea. I think, oh my god, if I plug that concept into that and then add a bit of that in, that'll allow me to do this. And like, because it's so exciting, I fucking don't sleep right. Honestly, I'll do 15-hour days on a computer building fucking circuits, fucking, you know what I do, all the mad shit I do. I do that, and I'll do that for weeks and weeks and weeks. And once I've understood it, and I go, okay, yeah, I can make a plasma ball think. Then once I've done it, it's like, right, I've done that then. Yeah. And then there's no more dopamine in it. And that's what I'm struggling with the masters. So my last module, I had to, I could do whatever I wanted. So I built a microphone from scratch, 3D printed parts, and had parts machined and all. I built a microphone. I built a remote control microphone stand for I've done all these mad things, right? But then the final part of the module was to write like a critical analysis of what you've done, right? And obviously I've done that now. I've got the fucking products, they work, you know, I'm going to sell them like they work, but writing about it, there's no dopamine for me in it, because I've done it. I'm like, why do I want to write about that? Well, I want to do the next thing. I want to fucking make a data field out of the fucking mains power, or, you know, I want to just do mad shit. And it's a problem, man.
I was listening to a neuroscientist, Mark Lewis, I think his name is, and he talked about this part of the brain that lights up in chemical addictions, but behavioral addictions as well. And what it tells me is that it was never about the chemical, it was about the neurological process. Because behavioral addictions, chemical addictions light up the same part of the brain. And it's called the anterior cingulate cortex.
Right.
And what it is, it's like a bridge between the rational brain and the prefrontal cortex.
Right.
And the limbic system, which is your emotional part of the brain. And what it does, so it controls, his book is called The Biology of Desire. And what that part of the brain does, it controls desire, or in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
And what he says is it was never about the outcome. It was about the anticipation of the outcome. So let's take drugs, for instance. On a Friday, you finish work.
I know.
You phone up the dealer. Where are you? You sit there for 2 or 3 hours, fucking crazy.
Here we go.
So you get it. You put it in your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. The best bit usually of drugs is waiting for it, isn't it? You're dead excited to that. And as soon as you have it, it's like, oh, fucking hell.
But like you're saying there, the anticipation of doing something, and then you do it, and it's like, done it now.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's sort of feels almost like an addiction, and it's...
No, it does, mate. When I was doing that plasma ball, and I shouldn't really talk about this because I don't think anyone's ever done it before, but I'm doing mad shit with plasma, right? And when I worked that out in my head, I was sitting there thinking, what is this thing? And I thought, right, okay. And when I worked out what I was trying to do computation with plasma, I was so excited. I fucking bought all the stuff, spent all my last money on getting all equipment to build this thing. And for fucking 2 weeks, that's all I did was tinker with this. The minute I'd done it, I jumped up and fucking yes, I fucking made this thing that no one on earth has ever, as far as I know, no one on earth has ever done this, right? And I was like, fucking get in. The minute I done it, I was like, right, done with that. Now what? You know, it's fucking mad, man. It's crazy. It is like drugs. It is like drugs.
It's good. You're looking for that dopamine.
Dopamine feedback loops, man. Yeah, 100%.
And they're all of it is learned patterns, learned processes, all of it. Neurological fucking pathways, neurons that fire together, wire together, all that type of talk. But they can change. And I think that I'm living proof. And there's hundreds of thousands of people that have shown that the brain is the most powerful thing in the world. And it has the ability to change.
Yeah, neuroplasticity, man. Yeah,
neuroplasticity. But what you've got to do is you've got to make it conscious till it becomes unconscious. Brushing your teeth is unconscious. You don't have to focus on it whatsoever. At one point, that was conscious. You have to focus on doing it. Tying your shoelaces, you can do it without even looking. Having a conversation.
Mate, it's so weird you say that because these things are like alien concepts to me. I brush my teeth, do my lace, all that shit. I can build fucking computers out of fucking gas. I can do the lot. But like having a bath. I'm like, I just can't do it, man.
But brush it. So maybe you don't brush your teeth as much, what you're saying.
As you can tell.
But you can do it without even thinking, can't you? If you want to, you just go there, do it. Fucking same as tying your laces. You put your shoes on, you could tie your laces while looking at me, while having a conversation with him.
You think I'm some kind of superhuman?
What I'm saying is, if you want to change those neural pathways, you have to focus on it.
No, I get it. Like, so I never ate proper food when I was up. I didn't have a chip until I was 5 or 6, something like that. So I never had proper food, and I had a real bad food phobia. I would try and eat stuff, and I'd be heaving off like basic stuff. And then I remember when I first had goat's cheese, and it sounds mad, I felt the neuron, the brain rewire as soon as because I had this mad idea of what food tasted like, and I never tasted anything. I used to live off cheese pizzas, even for Christmas dinner and all that. Iceland £1 cheese pizzas. I had that for 20 fucking years. And then when I first had goat's cheese, one, it was mad that I could try a food and it not make me sick. But then because it didn't taste anything like I thought, I was like, in my brain, like self-reflection, I was thinking like, I've got this all fucking wrong. I've been doing this all wrong. So then I tried a fucking bit of steak and I was, oh my God, like what the fuck? And I literally, it was like, boom, 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 boom. I just felt my whole self, my way I was, changed over like a course of about 3 or 4 months. Just try and duck. You know,
that is there. You're breaking your own boundaries.
Yeah, man.
And I had it last year, but about 3 or 4 times with John, and we'd say stuff or do something. And I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And you feel as like this.
Yeah, shift. Yeah, shift.
Like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, what's the matter? And I'm like, I've just leveled up here.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Cool something up.
Yeah, man.
Fucking Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah, man.
And that's what life is about. They're the moments when you...
Did you have any of those moments when you were in knobhead mode? Any like, no, I don't think I did either. Like, yeah, mad.
Because it keeps you stranded. And I'm like, I'm a big believer, and people might think I'm a prick for saying it, but like addiction and recoveries and rehab centers and all that, they're all billion-dollar industries. So they're not going to want to fix the cure.
Right.
They're going to want to fix the problem. It's like a car when it runs out of fuel, they just put some more fuel in it and it fucks off till you have to come back to the petrol station. And that's what I feel as though a lot of these programs and rehab centers do. They'll put some more fuel in you and send you on your way.
Yeah.
I had a look the other day, and in the 80s, it was like 8 billion or 13 billion or something like that. And
right.
It's up to like 32 billion now, the addiction industry.
Yeah, mad.
So to answer your question about the Zito Institute, it's like there's a lot of visualization with athletes that I want to do. The identity work and values and beliefs and all that, I want to do that stuff with people. Addiction recovery programs, I've created my own already. And then obviously I've got the trauma-informed psychology, so people who are struggling with depression, anxiety, whatever, you know what I mean?
Doesn't it like scare you a bit having like, how can I put this? Like, so if someone, obviously this is your world, I'm not in this world, so maybe it's not scary to you, but like, if someone came to me and said, oh, you know, I've got a problem with cocaine, I would be like scared to even touch it. Because I suppose I don't know the methods.
For me, you've got to be...
Because go with that, mate.
You've got to be focused about your boundaries. You've got to understand what your boundaries are as well. So like, I've helped people, I'm not going to say his name, but he's been on the podcast. He sent me a picture of him and he slit his own wrists.
Yes.
And it touched me, like brought me back a little bit. But then he's
scary, man.
But then he's messaging me a couple of months later with a picture of him and his kids saying, if it wasn't for the work me and you have done together, I wouldn't be here now for these kids.
Yeah, powerful.
That's
shit.
beautiful.
Yeah, man.
But at the same time, I also need to understand that I can't save anyone. I can help people
save themselves. Yeah.
But it's you know, we are powerful beyond belief. And I focus a lot on the words beyond belief.
Yeah, beyond your own fucking limitations, basically.
And that's what we are as humans. We limit ourselves because society deems that this is who you are. We grew up on council estates. You're the scum of the earth.
Yeah.
You'll always belong there. But it's a belief system that's never ours.
Yeah.
We grow up as kids and we say that we want to be astronauts or fucking firemen or we want to do amazing things. But then over the years, all that amazing energy is locked away in a fucking box in your head and it stays there for the rest of your life for the majority of people.
Yeah.
And some people can accept that. I can't.
Yeah,
I want to explore these boundaries of my life.
Yeah, me too, man.
So my vision statement, so you've heard me say it before, my mentor, John, calls himself a teaspoon.
Yeah.
And we started talking about painting and painters. And I just like...
As in art or as in decorating?
Art.
Right.
So I told this story, just a made-up story on social media about a guy who painted dark, disastrous paintings. And then one day he ran out of paint, so he decided to put more loving light colours in.
Right.
And then his paintings became beautiful and changed his perception of life. And I just liked the way that I spoke about it. It made me feel good. So then I called myself a painter just for this work we were doing. And then he said, right, focus on that. And what's your vision statement? And my vision statement, I can memorize it almost word for word, is that to show the world that even a canvas can break its own boundaries, holding within itself a vast universe of endlessness. What that means is we've had the boundaries of life, but within those boundaries, within that canvas, you can do whatever you want to fucking do. Mm. Society tells you one thing, tell it to get fucked.
Yeah.
And I'm studied fucking neuroscience last year, and I could never have done that.
Yeah.
But I've changed my belief system.
Well, that's the proof is in the pudding. Like I said at the start, I sat behind the console there listening to you do this. And for me, at first, I'm just going to be really fucking honest with you. At first, when you first started doing it, I felt like you were...
gimmicky.
No, not even that. Almost like you knew a bit, but you were playing a role a bit, right? And over the course of the last 2 years, I've seen you hold your own with clinical fucking psychologists and I've seen you blossom into the thing that you wanted to be, you were trying to be, you've become it. Do you know what I mean? It's really inspiring, man.
That's what I mean. Like, you don't find identity, you design it.
Yeah, man.
And that's what me, John, Zoe, that's what we've been doing over the last 12 months, designing a person that I want to be. Yeah, good. And I feel as though, mate, I genuinely feel as though I've only just walked through the fucking door.
Yeah, that's the best way to feel, though, isn't it?
Like I'm just getting started with all this, and the Zito Institute.
But isn't that cool? Like, so you're just getting started, and it's already had this massively profound positive effect, and you're just starting.
Yeah,
it's class, man.
It almost feels like when you're talking a journey, I've literally took one step.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
Yeah, man.
But yet it feels incredibly powerful.
Yeah, man. A step across an ocean,
That's what I want the Zito Institute to be. Is all around. I want it to be this grand thing of going into businesses and
changing cultures and
schools and talking about culture. Culture's something that I'm learning a lot about now with John. But I want it to be everything. You know what I mean? Not everything, but everything. My vision.
Yeah, man, and it will be, because one of the things I love about you is that and it reminds me a little bit of how I was with music when I was younger, the way you are with this whole thing you're doing. It's the kind of like relentless pursuit of the goals. And I don't have that as much anymore. That's what I was saying about I feel a bit aimless. But when I was fucking 22 and I was fucking around with record deals and all that shit, I knew I was just going to be the fucking biggest rock star. It never happened, do you know what I mean? But I fucking knew it. I just knew it. There was not a single bit of doubt in my mind. And like, I see that with you. You want to do a podcast. Look at this place. Do you know what I mean? It's like fucking, you spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of networking, a lot of fucking blood, sweat and tears, but you've been relentless with it. And I think that is like a lesson that if like anyone could take, if you want to get clean and sober, be fucking relentless at it. Put as much effort into that as you do as getting the gear. You know what I mean? That's what it is, isn't it?
And even that there, so like clean and sober.
No, I'm just using that as an example. Do you know what I mean?
But there is a lot of people who will identify as just being sober. But what people need to realize as well is sobriety doesn't necessarily bring purpose or happiness. It just means you're fucking not off your nut.
Yeah, but I suppose it allows the chance to find purpose more than if you're doing gear every day. Do you know what I mean?
And like, it just, there's loads happening, mate. And Zoe mentioned it, and my mum today mentioned it, similar to what you were saying there. Everything, or the majority of things I've ever done in my adult life, I had a fucking hot tub business where I rent out inflatable hot tubs. Or didn't work.
Yeah, it fails okay.
But there's loads of things where I've said, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And nothing ever comes into.
Did you feel, did you feel as strongly as about the hot tub business as you do this?
This just feels a part of me.
Yeah, I can see it.
So like,
I can see it.
Zoe said to me last week, and my mum said it, everything else you've ever spoke about, it's a fad.
Yeah, I get it.
And they said that this Zito stuff, like, it's not going away. I said, it's not going away.
I feel like that when I started doing, I'd never done any software until I started doing the masters. And they give us this visual program language, which I kind of understood. It wasn't all text. It was just nodes you could plug into. I was like, right, okay, I kind of get that. But I was swimming around in it. And as soon as I discovered the neural networks and understood what they do, it's it's part of me. I just love it. Do you know what I mean? I fucking love it. Like, and it feels like it's like I've internalized it. That is just what I know about now. It's mad.
When it becomes part of who you are, it's never going anywhere.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like,
yeah. So what's the next steps?
This podcast, I want to grow this podcast a lot more this year. I think there was times last year where it was just being. Do you know what I mean? I was just, like they said before, the embodiment aspect. I was embodying it. Whereas towards the back end of last year, we made some big shifts in numbers, didn't we? And I just realized a few things that I was doing wrong as part of like the marketing or the editing part of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this year, I want it to be a powerful year around the podcast, but the business, mate, I've never run a business. So there's a lot that I'm going to learn this year around business. Do
you think, obviously, you've been in, I don't know if I'm right, but you've been managerial roles and supervisory roles and stuff. So is there cross transferable skills from that to doing your own business?
Yeah, and that's what me and John, I remember saying to him, I don't know nothing about business. And then I explained all the stuff I've done in my career, and he's like, you definitely do. Like,
yeah,
you know, leadership in itself. I've always had a strong mindset around what it is to be a certain type of leader.
Right.
Like empathy, perception, being kind to other people. I've never got it 100% right. But, you know, as far as careers go, I've done all right.
Yeah.
So the business, I'll kickstart the business this year. So the Bible, the Zito Bible that I spoke about, and that's going to be a big driver this year, embodying that.
Right.
So it becomes unconscious language.
Yeah.
So there's bits in there around self-leadership where you talk about micromanaging moments, and in each moment you can be a reactor, a passenger, or a leader. In any moment in your life, are you a reactor, are you a passenger, or a leader? So there's bits around that I want to embody. So like when people look at me, they go, oh, passenger, reactor, leader, you know, that type of stuff. But the Bible itself, mate, John looked at it and I've looked at it, and it's literally a lifetime's worth of work.
Mega.
And it's something that, you know, I can go back to it over and over again and learn more from the same.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to build courses out of it. I want to build educational programs. I want to do talks. I want to do, you know, travel the UK and do fucking public speaking events with it all. And
it'll happen, mate.
Yeah,
I can see that you're on that path, mate. It's cool as fuck, man. What's been the best moment you've had doing all this in the last year, say?
Being able to look at me missus with no fear of lies.
Yeah, I get it, man.
Because
I get it.
And don't get it wrong, I'm still not 100% perfect when it comes to being in a relationship, and I've still got faults. But the fact that I can sit there and truly look at her and be vulnerable and say, oh, like you did it this morning, when I was, you know, there was certain, not serious bad issues,
but just things,
things that were giving her a bit of an ick. And we spoke about them, and the ability to sit in front of me missus and know life's 99% good. I think that's been the best thing for me.
That's mega, mate. Because that what's really cool about that is it's not getting the studio. Yeah. It's not fucking getting 10,000 views on a pot. It's not none of that fucking surface level shit. Because I mean, this is amazing, but it's fucking. It's gonna, you know, it's not your whole being. That where's your missus? That's your life, innit? You know what I mean? It's great.
You know, there's that old saying, isn't it? Behind every decent bloke, there's a fucking
powerful woman. Yeah. And
I promise you, mate, she's the cleverest, kindest, most caring person I've ever fucking met.
Man.
And there's been many a times where she should have gone,
fuck you. Yeah. Same with Steph for me, mate. Same with Steph, especially the last couple of years, man. Yeah.
She sent me a message. I'll try and get it up on fucking Facebook. She sent me a message on Messenger, obviously. Where is it?
Don't be killing the flow searching for your love messages, mate.
So this was it. So, because like a lot of people have said that she changed me and all this. So the message was, they say I changed him. Maybe I did. Maybe I just reminded him of who he's always been. They say I made him distant, but maybe I helped him choose peace over noise. They say I softened him, but maybe he finally felt safe enough to stop bracing for impact, safe enough to breathe. They didn't see the quiet nights I prayed over him, the patience, fucking hell, The patience it took to love him without trying to fix him. The way I held him when he had nothing left to offer but honesty. He wasn't broken, he was tired. And he just needed somebody who saw him clearly, somebody who stayed. And I did.
It's beautiful, mate.
I'm like, fucking
It's
hell.
powerful shit, man.
Yeah. But that type of stuff there, I've never felt somebody, and I can, you know, I've not been perfect, but I've never felt somebody. I've always pushed them away. Somebody gets close enough, fuck that, they're not coming in this circle. They can have a bit of me, but not having all of me. But she just stayed that much. She just wanted it that much that she just broke me down to the point where I had nothing to offer but love. And that sounds fucked up.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound fucked up at all. It's the most natural thing in the world, isn't it?
But as a man, the amount of times you'd push him away, or you'd think, well, she's too good for me anyway, and you'd walk off out for 2 days.
Yeah.
But she stayed, and she doesn't understand how much I appreciate and thank her for it. And
I think she does understand, babe. She does understand.
That's probably been the most powerful part of the last year for me.
Nigga.
Was the ability to sit in front of the woman that I love and truly be vulnerable with the words that I'm using, rather than just putting on this false persona.
Yeah. Mega, mate. Let's wrap up, brother. That was brilliant. Give me a cuddle. Come on, give me a cuddle, big guy.